Tom, but would you mind if I let off some steam in here?
Sure, why not?
Oh, how I wish you could write a news release on the world's most difficult patient.
I'm not quite sure now what I'm supposed to say.
I'll dictate. Riverside Hospital's most difficult patient was described today by an impartial observer as mean, petty, spiteful, selfish, and endlessly scheming to get her own way.
Ah, the incomparable Delia.
I have just been called on the carpet by my boss. Delia wrote her a letter complaining that I was visiting neurology for the purpose of stealing her husband.
Now, that's certainly unfair. Are you in a lot of trouble?
Not really, but it's so embarrassing. Dr. Franco suggested to me that I avoid any contact with Pat when I'm on the floor.
Well, no wonder you're mad.
Oh, I'm furious. And when I think how much real trouble I could cause her, and I don't.
How could you cause the trouble?
By telling a few people some home truths. Please don't ask about it, Tom.
I won't.
What is so frustrating is that her whole life is one big, long lie, and it doesn't bother her a bit. I was just in to see her to tell her what I thought of her latest efforts. And it was so much wasted breath. I mean, she does not like to hear the truth, and she does not deal with it, period.
Truth-telling? What do you mean, truth-telling?
Exactly that. Delia, you've got to come back into the real world.
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm not doing anything except trying to help.
No, you're scaring me, and friends don't scare you.
I can understand how you'd be a bit apprehensive. I mean, the word truth probably scares you half to death. You've been lying so long.
Roger, don't.
Delia, these lies are making you sick, honey. Now, it's going to be hard in the beginning, but the truth is going to make everything all right.
The truth? What truth?
Well, why don't we start with Mrs. Sheila Brown?
Stay tuned to learn sleep. We'll
The subject of Mrs. Brown alone, and you said you would.
No, I did not.
Roger, please.
Delia, let's just bring this whole thing out in the open. I don't think it's going to be as bad as you think. Now, on the 18th of April, you and Pat were married, and everyone thought you were pregnant.
I was pregnant. Look, I don't have to listen to this. I'm going to call for the nurse.
Fine, fine. We can let her listen, too. Now, about 3 weeks earlier, on March 30th, a Mrs. Sheila Brown, funny how that name keeps coming up. Sheila, 5'2", 98 pounds, blue eyes, blonde hair, approximately 10 weeks pregnant, checked into the OB/GYN clinic.
No, that's a coincidence. That wasn't me.
Where a spontaneous abortion took place and she lost her baby.
No, you're trying to say that's me, and that's unfair.
Delia, she left the hospital without being discharged and left a fake phone number and address.
This has nothing to do with me.
She left behind a pair of earrings. Now, a few days later, the paraprofessional that had taken care of Mrs. Brown, Alicia Nieves, returned those earrings in a public restaurant, and that's where I heard Alicia call you Mrs. Brown.
She got very mixed up. The other Mrs. Brown must have looked like me.
There is no other Mrs.
Yes,
Brown.
there is.
No. I checked with the file clerk in the medical records office, and she showed me your chart, and I also talked to Alicia. Now, Alicia did not say anything, and I still don't understand why she's protecting you. But she did not deny anything I said either.
Okay, so you went around and you looked in my private medical records, and you were talking to people, and you were finding out patient information that is confidential.
Delia, what in the hell are you trying to do? Build a legal fence that you can hide behind? Honey, this is not a court of law. We're simply trying to find out what is true and untrue. And for your sake, more than anything else, you've got to look at the truth in your life.
I don't want to have to look at the truth.
But you have no choice.
No, I do have a choice. I do have a choice if you promise me that you're not going to tell.
You had a miscarriage 3 weeks before you married Pat, and then you took advantage of the fact that he had a 72-hour tour of duty and then faked the miscarriage at home alone.
It was his baby, and I lost. I mean, when the hell difference does it make when I lost it?
I think it will make all the difference in the world to Pat.
Why are you doing this to me? Would you just leave me alone?
Because you are hurting other people.
You're meddling.
You're also hurting yourself.
Oh, I see. So you're doing this for my own good.
Matter of speaking,
Well,
yes.
you're not doing me any good.
That is where we are in total disagreement.
Roger, you are a very special person to me. Now, we were lovers. And I thought that I would marry you.
I remember.
I changed my mind, though, but you forgave me. And you're my friend. I mean, even though I treated you like that, right?
Yes, Delia.
Okay, well, you know all that. Then why are you going to do something that I am so desperate to prevent?
For all the reasons I've already explained.
Roger, wait a minute, come back. Roger!
Delia, I am going to find Pat wherever he is and tell him the whole truth right now.
Oh, that is the most wonderful news. Oh, Mr. Ryan will just be delighted. You know, you're the first sanitation department group to back him, and he won't forget that. Oh, well, I know that he'll call to thank you in person as soon as he has time. Good. Goodbye.
Jumping on the bandwagon already, huh? Things must be really heating up.
Mr. Finelli, we're going to Washington. You can go right on in.
Thanks, Georgia. Hey, this a bad time?
Oh, no. Come on in, Jack.
You were very far away.
Well, there's so much going on, some of it personal, some of it political. I'm just having trouble keeping my head straight, that's all.
You want to talk to me about any of it? As a brother-in-law, I mean.
Later, maybe, but not just this minute. Tell me, how are you and Mary doing?
Things are so good with us, we're boring. We are happy in about every way that I can think of. So, why don't you tell me some of what's going on?
Okay. As a brother-in-law.
Off the record.
Well, right now I'm sitting here kind of in a state of shock. Mary doesn't know this yet, but last night Jill came by here and dropped a bombshell.
Yeah?
It seems that her baby, Edmund, is my son, and not Seneca's.
For real?
Yeah. Seneca's known for months. He finally told Jill, and, well, she came over to tell me the first opportunity she had.
Wow. So, what do you do now?
That's just it. There are so many things I would like to do, but it's just not possible. They don't make any sense.
Like what?
Well, it really doesn't matter because they all depend on Jill at least being open to the possibility of something happening with us.
And she isn't?
No. Not at all. At least that's what she said last night. She isn't asking me to be responsible for Edmund or her in any way.
Well, then why did she come and tell you?
Well, apparently she regretted not telling me the truth the first time, as she understood it. And she thought it was a matter of her honor that I get all the pertinent facts this time, including blood types and subtypes and when and where Edmund was conceived.
And, that's all?
Well, if there was anything more than that, I sure missed it.
I'm sorry.
So am I.
Quite a mess, isn't it?
That's just the half of it. I laid out the whole situation for Ray Woodard, who has ambitions for me I'm not sure I could take on under the best of circumstances. And she pointed out some pretty elementary home truths.
Such as?
Well, for one thing, if I'm going to have any kind of a political career beyond where I'm at now, I have got to resolve the situation of the baby.
Mrs. Woodard have any thoughts as to how you might do that?
No. She was very careful not to try to influence me. She pointed out that if I normalized my relationship with Jill, then I could go before the people as, well, as a married man. All right, twice married, that is, with 2 children.
Well, Jill would make a great candidate's wife.
Yeah, that's right. On the other hand, if I could get clear of the whole situation, which seems to be what Jill would like, then I could, and if she married someone else, say, then I could go to the public, not only as a young and able member of the city council, but also as an eligible bachelor, which would be worth a vote or 2.
If you could get clear.
That's it. On the other hand, if I try to keep in touch with Jill and the baby, and if for any reason she doesn't marry Seneca, then I am really vulnerable. Because sooner or later, some reporter is going to dig that out.
Major campaign, they won't miss much.
And after Watergate, a candidate discovered to have an illegitimate child living around the corner with his mother would be dead, dead, dead. So, what do I do? It seems crazy to just throw away everything that I've built up in the past, along with the terrific opportunity that I have now for a situation in which I am not even wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
But the alternative means doing nothing.
Leaving it all up to Jill.
Mm-hmm.
You could, go see her again. Anyway, seems to me there's still one other person to be consulted.
Who?
The baby. Don't you think you should go see the baby?
Our fly.
How do you feel now?
Well, calmer, thank heavens. I think I may have gotten Delia out of my system. For the moment, anyway.
You were a very angry lady. I'm glad you came to me.
Somehow, I knew it wouldn't bother you.
That's nothing compared to what goes on where I come from. Though, I will say, it wasn't a bad tantrum at all for a well-raised Protestant.
You know that part of me actually enjoyed telling you all about it?
Exploding all over the place and not caring.
Exactly. Because when I was growing up, I would never have been allowed such self-indulgence.
Ah, the good old childhood memories of going into the bathroom, locking the door, turning on the taps full before expressing any deep emotions such as tears or fury.
What a good memory you have.
For things you've told me about yourself. Yes.
Thank you. Oh, I can remember so many times being absolutely outraged by Roger getting away with something. And my mother would silence me with a look.
Just like that. Peer at you over her glasses and that was it?
That was it. So I would run upstairs to my room as fast as I could and put a Strauss waltz on the record player very loud because I knew that really bothered Roger. And I would lie in my bed and listen to the music swirling and filling every crevice of my room and dream. My favorite fantasy was that I was in a beautiful 1850s formal gown in this huge ballroom where I was noticed by a devastatingly handsome lieutenant of the 4th Fusiliers. Now, I never knew what Fusiliers meant, but it always seemed to be romantic to me. And he would look at me from across the room, and our eyes would meet, and he would never take his gaze from mine. And then, very slowly, he would come across that huge room towards me. And I was sure I was going to faint, because I knew that under those circumstances, a mere faint was what was expected. And then, he would bow over my hand and say,
Are you engaged for this day?
I have no engagements. Ever.
It still works.
It does?
It is the most enchanting fantasy. Music and dancing.
No, I'm not so sure that I can provide as romantic a setting, but if you'd like to go dancing tonight.
Well, I suppose we could waltz around my kitchen as far as that goes.
Okay, but only after I've taken you to a wonderfully romantic Italian dinner at Mama Siena's.
Is that a real invitation?
It's a real invitation. May I have a real response?
I accept.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. We'll make tonight very special.
Very special.
Yeah.
This is the gun you sold me yesterday. Fully loaded. Now don't move.
Hey, buddy, come on, point that thing someplace else.
Now, I squeeze the trigger very slowly.
You must be crazy.
One who's crazy if you think you can take $200 from me for a gun with a firing pin that's off center. I need a new one by tonight.
Next, see.
Roger, don't. Roger, please don't. Look, I will do anything that you want me to do. I will get down on my knees.
All I want is for you to face the truth and get well.
You just tell me what to do. Just tell me.
There isn't anything you can do that's going to change my mind.
Roger. Roger, maybe we could go back and be together like we used to be.
I don't believe you just said that.
You're so good to me.
Do you have any idea how degrading that is?
I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean it.
You only offended me because you can think of yourself in those terms. That you're so desperate to...
I am desperate.
Delia, when we were together, as you so delicately phrase it, we had love and loving and caring and a certain level of honesty, which is one of the reasons I think you were so happy all that time.
No, all I want is for you to let me be happy.
All you want is Pat and the Ryans, and you have some twisted idea that it doesn't make any difference what you do to hang on to them.
No, I don't have to do anything as long as you stop interfering.
You've already done too much.
Look, I have everything that I want, okay? I have Pat. He's not going to run off with Faith. Now, why can't you just leave me alone?
Because simple possession doesn't make it right. Pat is miserable. You are.
I am not miserable.
You are miserable because you're afraid of being exposed.
You are the only one that I am afraid of.
Which is crazy. Because I am the best friend you have, and you can't even see that. Delia, I'm going to put it in the open, and then you'll see.
No, wait, Roger, please, well, look, if you tell them I'm going to lose Pat, I'm going to lose the Ryans.
Delia, you have no choice.
Look, there's got to be something that we can do.
There isn't, Delia. There really isn't.
Roger, you're going to ruin everything.
It's already ruined. You have to see things the way they are.
No!
You have to take a real look at what's happening to you and to Pat and to me and everyone you touch.
No, I don't want to.
Delia, you have no choice.
Look, Roger, just give me another minute, okay? Just another minute, okay? Oh!
Didn't hit your head, did you?
No.
Delia, are you hurt?
I'm feeling kind of funny. I didn't land that hard.
Okay, come on, let's get you back in bed.
No!
Delia, something the matter?
I'm not sure. Something's wrong with my eyes. I can't see.
Delia, that's not going to work.
I'm not tricking you. I can't see. I can't see anything.
Then breakfast in bed with SoapNet. Sleep in, curl up, and check out with back-to-back episodes of One Tree Hill and Beverly Hills 90210. Breakfast in bed, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday on SoapNet.